Recently, I got to give my version of a TED Talk in front of 2,000 people here in Las Vegas. But unlike most TED Talks where you get months to prepare, I had to come up with mine right there on the spot. There was no preparation, there was no topic, I didn't have any PowerPoints. They simply wanted me to talk about what my one secret power was. And so in this clip, you're gonna see me freestyle for 15 minutes on what I believe the biggest superpower I have is. And trust me, this superpower is something that you're gonna want as well, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Real quick, I wake up this morning, I know I'm speaking at this event, and in my mind I'm thinking, all right, we got a panel. I've been on panels before. They just ask you some questions and you're good. And I get to the back and I meet Cole and he says, hey, you guys are doing a TED Talk. And I said, a TED Talk? I've never done that. Don't people practice for like months to do that? Don't they have slides? Like, what's the deal? What's my TED Talk even about? And he said, you're talking about personal brand. I said, okay, great, It used to be people wanted to come meet me to learn about real estate investing. But for probably the past year, the majority of the times I go to speak are on personal brand or these new things that not a lot of people are doing. So he kind of talked a little bit about why it's been successful for me in many ways. And I want to share with you kind of the journey and the realization that I had with it and why I went so hard at making content. And I'll also talk about revenues. But before I do that, this is going to be like really me putting myself out there because I'm supposed to be the authority on this. But how many of you guys have actually seen me on social media? Okay, all right, good. So we're good. We can continue. So for me, I didn't start taking social media seriously until about 2020. It happened during the pandemic. I remember sitting there kind of wondering what I was going to do with my life, how my business was going to operate. At the time, I had about 50 flips going on. Any of you guys ever had 50 flips going on at once? Yeah, not a lot of people, right? Any of you guys ever had the world shut down while you had them? Yeah, probably not many people. Well, I did. And I said, man, what is going to happen here? Am I going to get foreclosed on all these flips? Like, is the market going to crash? I don't know. And I remember thinking, well, I'm going to do something with my time. I'm not going to sit on my hands and, hope I get a stimulus check or something. Like, I'm going to make something with my time. And so I started looking at where the world was going. And I said, what's going to happen here if we're all locked up? And I just kept coming back to social media. And I was like, I think people are going to be online more than ever. Because they can't do anything. And everyone's just looking at YouTube and Instagram, and this TikTok thing was emerging. Nobody knew much about it. And I said, I'm gonna just start posting content. And I reached out. At the time, I had maybe 10,000 Instagram followers. That was it. I had no podcast, no YouTube, no TikTok, nothing. And I put a story out and I said, hey, who are like the top YouTubers right now? Like, I don't even watch YouTube. I don't know. And they said, well, you got these guys. A bunch of them are my friends now, so I make fun of them. But they're like, you got these guys, Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin and all these other guys. They're great dudes. And I go, okay, so these are like the biggest authorities on real estate. Like, how much are they doing? Are they flipping like hundreds of homes? Tell me. And they're like, no, not really. I mean, they do a couple of houses a year. I was like, what? Why do people watch them? And they're like, they're cool. Like, we like them. We relate to them. And I was like, so how much do they make making videos? Like, why do they do it? And I started to dive into the rabbit hole, and I saw that these guys were making hundreds of thousands of dollars every month on YouTube. They were making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a month. And Kevin has made $1 million a month in sponsorships and just ads, literally making 7 figures with no overhead, no risk, no hard money loans. He sits in front of a camera like this and makes videos. It's stupid, but it was so stupid. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is really a thing. Like, this is how it goes. And they said, yeah. I was like, okay, I don't even know why I flip houses. Like, what am I doing? And so I decided that I am going to get a camera and start making videos. And so that's what I did. In March, when everything happened, March of 2020, I started to make TikToks because I realized TikTok was also something that was on the come up. And I didn't know what to do. You know, my first bunch of TikToks were me like dancing and pointing. How many of you OGs know what I'm talking about? Okay. So, you know, I did that and I experimented and tried to figure out what works best. And eventually I realized, like, you know what? I don't have to do what all the kids are doing. I can just give really good advice and it's going to resonate with people, right? And it worked. All of a sudden, I was getting thousands of followers every day because I was one of the only people on TikTok. The rest of my buddies, you know, they were sleeping on it. They thought it was stupid. They thought it was a kids app. And I said, no, I think this is going to be pretty big. Flash forward 2 years from now, which is today, TikTok is the #1 most watched social media app. More than YouTube, more than Instagram, more than all of them. How many of you guys knew that? Yeah, how many of you guys are actually on TikTok? And that goes to show you, you guys will be who are not. Your hands aren't raised, you will be. Especially after this, after what I tell you what I'm gonna tell you. But, you know, I start making these TikToks. In May, I start making YouTubes, and they start getting traction, and it's going really good. And I say, man, like this stuff is great. What I didn't realize was how much they were gonna impact my businesses. I was starting to generate leads way faster than I'd ever generated leads in my career. And, you know, I have multiple businesses. Like I have my house flipping business, you know. At the time, I did not have this fund, you know, to buy apartments, but I had my education business. I also own a CPA firm, and we were just getting leads like crazy. Like we couldn't even keep up. I was like, wow, I'm not even spending any money on marketing, and I'm getting all these leads, making a ton. And I said, I got to double down on this social media thing. So I built out a whole organization to create content. You know, I hired a videographer, editors, a producer, someone to manage the content and post the content. And it was a game changer. You know, we talked about it really early here and said that my income has tripled every year. It's true. Back in 2019, when I was just a quote unquote businessman, we did $1.5 million, which pretty good year, right? How many of you guys would like to make $1 million in a year, right? So I thought I was killing it. And, you know, fast forward, I go to this social media thing, and in 2020, during, you know, a year when everyone's freaking out, we tripled, did over $5 million. We do it again, 2021. I start to double down on social media more. We do over $15 million. And in this year, I honestly think conservatively, we'll triple again to do over $40 million. And yeah. And the reason I say conservatively is, you know, we're going down new avenues. For those of you who follow me, you know that I've been heavily talking about digital real estate and the metaverse and how crypto is going to change the game. How many of you guys are interested in that stuff? Tykes, there we go. We got some of my Tykes guys. So if that goes the way I think, then it could blow every expectation out of the water, and who knows, right? Now, the reason I bring all these things up is because none of them would be possible if I didn't take my social media seriously and really value my personal brand, you know? Like, yeah, I had my existing businesses and they got better from social media, but it also led me to opening up new businesses and new endeavors that I didn't have before. You know, we started an e-commerce company. We've got over 300 e-commerce stores. We started the fund that we just talked about. You know, I didn't have a fund before that, but it just so happened that a lot of people who follow me want to invest with me. Like it never crossed my mind that that was a thing. And so we started the fund, and I think this year we'll buy over 1,000 units just from social media. Like, it's pretty crazy, right? So, business-wise, it makes sense. A couple of keys I want to give to you guys for those of you who are getting started. Number one is get over the fear of being judged. Like, that's the number one thing, man. How many of you guys like make a video on the camera and you just scrap it because you're like, dude, that sucked? Yeah, I let them go. I'm just like, post them. I post so much that I'm like the anti-perfectionist. We got misspellings in my videos. We got errors in the videos. I don't care. Like, I would rather just win with volume. If you see me and my hair on a consistent basis, that's winning, even if I said something stupid, right? There's a reason guys like Grant Cardone say crazy things, because they know it's going to get more views, right? There's a reason I dye my hair sometimes. It's a shock factor. People just are like, man, did you see that? Like, what is this guy doing, you know? So you got to start thinking about these things. Get over yourself. Like, it's okay. The second thing is, you don't have to be that talented. You know, do you think anyone trained me to go speak on camera or speak on stage? No. I've never spoken in front of 2,000 people. This is my first time.
Yeah.
So you got to just do it. You got to have trial by fire, right? Like, that's the only way you're going to figure this out. You got to get out there and post. And guess what? You're going to suck. And that's okay. Once you get out there and get the suckingness out of you, you'll get to learn from it, and you're going to get better, right? I was the same way. Don't look at my old TikToks and look at me dancing, okay? Because they suck. And it takes me going through dancing and pointing at weird things to get to where I'm at today. Where now, you know, you look at how I make content, pretty much everyone has copied it at this point, right? Like, it's very similar. And it wasn't a thing that people did 2 years ago, but now it's like the norm for an entrepreneur to do. That's cool. But guess what? Being an innovator, I'm always thinking about that next move that no one's doing, right? And so for me, this is one of the beauties of having a personal brand, is that you get to choose how you want people to perceive you. You get to choose how you want people to view your business, your core values, your work ethic, your family life, all those things, right? And so if I'm thinking about new business ventures and things that I want to be known for, you know, if you just look on my social media right now, you'll see in my bios, it's all about digital real estate. It's all about crypto. And essentially, I'm trying to be the authority in digital real estate, anything to do with real estate and metaverse. And you don't really have the opportunity to do that unless you build a personal brand, right? That has reputation and things, right? If I was just some no-name dude who started talking about it, nobody would give a crap, right? And you don't have to create new industries like I'm trying to do, okay, and new niches. You can do it in your own local niche, your own local business, and absolutely kill it. You can be known as the top flipper or wholesaler there, the person who gets things done, who solves problems. You can be known as the top network marketer or crypto investor, whatever it is you want to do. The only way people are going to know you're the best is if you tell them. Does that make sense? We all like to think people will tell us that we're great and everyone will talk about us, but if nobody knows what you're doing, how are they going to know you're the best, right? It'd be like LeBron James sitting in his house and he was like, yeah, I'm the best basketball player, but he never plays a game. He's just one of those pickup guys on TikTok that just posts them hitting shots and stuff. Like, no, dude. If you were the best, we'd see you competing every day against other people, showcasing your talents and your skills. And that's what you guys got to do. You got to showcase what you do. And it doesn't have to be world class or best in the world today, but if you showcase yourself doing the journey, people are going to see that from the journey, and they're going to see your development, and they're going to say, wow, like, I can't believe how fast you grew. People tell me that all the time. You know why? Because I've been showcasing it, right? If I just jumped on the scene today, you wouldn't know the journey that I had to take. And that's not even counting everything else I did at this point, because I didn't showcase it. You know, I didn't even mention this. I played professional baseball for 8 years. I got drafted by the Oakland A's in 2010. I was making $1,200 a month doing that, while also trying to go after this dream of being a real estate investor and like providing for my family. And, you know, I did a bunch of side hustles along the way. I flipped couches. How many of you guys have been doing side hustles or couch flipping or anything? Shout out to Flip Nation. So, you know, I had to do all that stuff, and I wish I would have documented it while I was going through it, because then everybody could see how like big the come up was and what it was like in the trenches. And so that's what I encourage all you guys today. to make sure that you start documenting the journey today. I don't care where you're at. Don't worry about people judging you. And start making content. That's all I got.
Give him some love.